Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of JourneyCast. My name is Levi.
I'm Alicia.
And today we have with us Dax Hickey.
Yes, you do.
Dax.
A youth group alumni.
A youth group alumni, yes.
Welcome back, Dax.
Your favorite, right?
Yes. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Recent graduate, went away to college, has returned the golden child.
Friends with Josue.
Friends with Josue Duque.
Yeah.
Friends of like 12 years.
Yeah.
So if you think you're friends with him.
Are you really friends with him?
Are you really friends with him?
I think we're
is
even
Dax
get-
friends with him?
I'm friends with him.
We get to
You
hear the
know
origin
him.
story today.
Yeah. You were just saying before we started that Josue chose you to be his friend.
So I have two accounts of his story.
Okay.
The best part is I have no idea which one's true
Oh.
because I do not remember.
Who are
So-
the accounts from?
My friend, Josue.
Yeah.
So first person account.
Yeah.
And then my mom.
But like probably like from a 5-ish-year-old or...
Yeah, from a 5-ish-year
Yeah.
old.
So
who
can we
knows?
trust that?
Yeah.
Who can we trust? You know, there's a lot of narrative ambiguity in my life.
We should take this to court and see what actually
We should
happened.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should have like a court night at youth and
Figure out what's
run
the
through the
truth.
facts, select a jury.
Mhm.
And
I don't know
yeah.
what facts there are to collect.
Well,
It's
I mean,
5.
we would just get statement, get Josue on the stand, get Jana on the stand, maybe you, and you could just be like, I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
know.
have someone hypnotize.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have me hypnotized, see what I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there might be a third story out there.
There might be a
Yeah.
third
Yeah.
story. My story.
Surprise witness.
Untold. Yeah. I'm the surprise witness. So the story Josue told me
Yeah.
was like, I was a very quiet kid in the first grade. I switched schools into a private Christian school. And just in general, like very polite but very quiet kid. And Josue was a very rambunctious child.
I buy that.
Yeah. And like he's pretty rambunctious now, but back then, just absolute wild energy all the time. Like real force of nature of a child.
Yeah.
And so, according to him, he looked at me, just this quiet kid who like didn't really talk to anyone, and he was like, "I'm gonna make this guy my friend. I'm gonna annoy him."
He said that to you, or he thought that to himself?
He told me this years later. It was like,
Yeah, we need the facts. I mean, I need some.
years later, he was like, "This is how he phrases it."
Yeah.
He was like, "I'm gonna annoy this person until they're my friend."
Oh, interesting.
I think,
You sounded like Josue when you said that.
yeah. Well, I should.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's account
I'm
one.
going to annoy this person
Yeah.
until they're my friend.
Yeah.
And he would say it just very straight,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
straightforward. Yeah.
And then your mom's account.
My mom's account. So, very quiet child, according to my teachers, would not talk unless I was called upon. And so they called my mom, and they were concerned about me. Whereas, like, does Dax like...
Is he okay?
Is he, yeah, no, straight up.
he
like,
good?
Is he okay? Is he good? And
This doesn't seem normal.
he doesn't seem normal, like, straight up. Many conversations happen like that, actually, but that's a different story.
What a world we were in. This 14 years ago, you said?
Well,
No.
Well, probably. Like, I was
Yeah.
4, or like, no, not 4, grade 1, like 6, 7, I don't know. Like a little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my mom goes up to me and asks, like, Dax, I got a call from your teachers. And I'm like, I'm a little worried. Are you okay? Are you lonely at school?
Yeah.
And I said, no. And I said that I'm watching all the kids to see who I want to be friends with.
Oh.
So,
You're just observing, taking notes, mental
observing-
notes.
Mental notes. Very Machiavellian.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
kid over there is kind of loud. I don't want to hang out with him.
Yeah.
That kid over there has got sticky hands.
I'm like,
I don't wanna hang out
what
with him.
standards did I have as a
Yeah.
child that these people needed
Very
to meet?
high ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very
supposedly.
high.
And then I remember
He
this.
plays video games. I like that.
Yeah, I remember this where it wasn't until like Thanksgiving where I was like, Mom,
Oh, from like September to like
Yeah.
October.
Mhm.
Yeah. So full month of research.
full month of research where I was
Wow.
like, Mom, I know who I want to be friends with. It's Josue. And here we are. Like
The chosen one.
The chosen one over a decade
See,
later.
I believe both those accounts can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, that you were observing, and Josue is like, I'm going to annoy this guy. And then through your research, you're like, hey, he's annoying. I like that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or I can't escape this.
I can't escape
Oh, yeah,
this as
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
It was probably...
Did you find him annoying?
No, I was a child. And I was really...
Maybe he was like, how much can he put up with? And he's like, well, turns out a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a weird kid.
Yeah.
So
Explain that to us. What does that mean?
What do you
A
mean
weird
weird?
child?
Define weird kid.
many... okay.
Or were all the other kids weird and you're the normal one? You know?
I
How do you
mean,
define that?
That's a good question. A weird kid. I remember my first day of like preschool. I was tired, so I opted to take a nap. As
At school?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at school because I'm tired. Like,
I mean, you could do that at home. Why not in this new
It's very
environment?
practical.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like,
Logic.
oh, yeah. And then I remember a kid was like, "Teacher, Dax is sleeping," and I remember my immediate thought was like, "How dare you?"
Yeah.
Like
Snitch.
And then the teacher's like, "Oh no, Dax, like
Mark.
you can't sleep right now." And I'm like,
Why?
"Why?"
But I'm tired.
I am tired. When people
I
are
should
tired,
sleep.
they rest. I was a very logical child, according to my
You
mom.
still are.
I still am. Like when it was my bedtime,
Yeah.
I would just like be like, "Well,
It is time for me to
it's
slumber.
bedtime. I have to go to bed." So, yeah, very much a rule follower.
Yeah.
I sort of think, though, that this nap thing is something worth, digging into a little bit more. Like, could we, as a society, learn from 5-year-old Dax?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
you
why
can learn
can't
many
I
things.
nap in the middle of the workday when I am tired?
Yeah.
I must.
Maybe I'll be more productive
I need to
after.
be
George
rejuvenated.
Costanza, you
Yeah,
know?
I am George.
Sleep under your
5-year-old
desk.
Dax was George Costanza.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another weird thing about me as a child, I was a bit of a method actor, as in
Oh.
I would wear a costume underneath my normal clothes, like
Yeah.
a superhero costume.
Oh.
Yes. And whatever costume I was wearing, so if I was Batman, I would request to be called Bruce.
And they're like, why? And you're like, you'll never know.
You'll never know. Yeah. Or if I was Spider-Man, like, oh, yeah, call me Peter.
Did you ever rip off your like dress shirt
well, of
to
course.
reveal that you were Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the
This
whole
is
point.
amazing.
Yeah. And so,
What did you call it? You were a bit of a
method actor.
method actor.
Yes.
Okay.
And so one
You
day,
embraced the story.
yeah, embrace
Yeah.
the story. One day, we were going to like somewhere, I think it was in BC, like a little cabin, and it was with my extended family. So I was driving with my aunts, and they're trying to get me to do something, but I won't respond. And that's unusual for me because I was a very polite kid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, what's going on with Dax? If I
Yeah.
call my mom because they're a little concerned. A lot of stories of my childhood, people calling my mom because they're a little concerned. I was not a rebellious kid. I was just odd.
There are just a lot of concerned adults.
It's like, is he
about
okay?
Dax. Yeah.
You're sticking to your plan.
Yeah.
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 But
My name isn't Dax right now.
no,
It's Peter
I
Parker.
just would not respond. I was like, who are these guys talking to? Not,
Yeah.
not, I don't know. Dax.
Obviously not you.
Not me. I'm Peter.
Yeah.
So what was the solution that day?
My mom was like, what costume is he wearing?
That's so funny.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, Spider-Man. Is like, call him Peter. So we're like, all right, hey, Peter, can you do this? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure thing.
Immediately.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I love this.
Yeah. So that's an
Like,
example.
it's not my name.
I was
Yeah.
also quite a grim child.
Oh.
As in, like, always had very weird interests and always very interested in, like, kind of spooky things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember, like, in my school, we had, like, a reading buddies program where, like, an older kid would read to you. And I picked a book on mythology. And the opening picture is, like, of a very grotesque depiction of a cyclops biting off someone's head. And, like, there's a little slide, and if you slide it, you get to see, like, the bodies in its stomach all covered in blood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
What's it doing in the school in the first place is my question.
Yeah, no, that's a valid question.
The second question, which the kid reading to me had, was for my teacher. And I was like, is he allowed to read this? I
You're like, shut up.
was like, I want to.
Was this the same kid that told on the teacher that you were napping?
No, this was years later.
Okay.
When, like, in grade 2 or something.
So 1 year later.
That
Oh,
is
wait, no,
pretty
in
graphic
preschool
for
you're
grade
preschool.
2.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was just a weird kid.
Did that bother you at all? Did you get?
I was just confused.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, I'm curious about this.
Yeah.
I want to learn more. Again, very logical child.
Yeah.
And very grim interests where I always loved, like, weird, like, monster stuff because I was always very interested in that.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, I don't know if this was my exact thought process, but it was like, well, why is this thing monstrous? What
Yeah.
makes it monstrous?
If I learned enough about it, then it's not scary.
Or maybe it was that, or maybe it's like, yeah, probably that. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, why is this like
If I can
thing?
fully understand it, then I won't be afraid of it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So then, like, yeah, I was always very interested in that and, like, other things. I was very preoccupied with death from a very young age.
Oh.
But you also used that creatively.
Yeah.
So I remember when I first met you, you were in elementary school. Your mom, the stuff she said about you. I still just remember, I think it might have been the first time I ever met you. I was sitting at your dining table or something, and your mom was just like, "You used to be a snuggle monster. Now you're just a monster." I just think about that all the time for whatever reason. It's so funny. Your mom is my favorite. So, shout out to Janet.
Shout out to my mom.
You
Hi,
raised
Jana.
a really great son here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like him.
1 out of 3
We
ain't
like
bad.
you. Yeah. Oh gosh. But I distinctly remember you like doing like a kind of a show and tell, and you came with like a notepad, and your mom, you were writing some kind of story, and you were drawing pictures.
I remember it was like a giant. Was it
Yeah.
a giant notepad?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember what story you were writing?
I was writing something about time travel.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And was there something sciencey
easiest
in
story
there?
telling.
Yeah, there's something
Fun.
sciencey where I was like, well, what's the most logical fuel for like a time machine through space? Well, the sun produces a lot of energy. So what if on the spaceship they had a miniature sun that powered everything? I remember this actually. So then I Googled.
And you hadn't seen Spider-Man 2 yet, had you?
No.
Oh.
Well,
Ahead of
probably.
Otto
Well,
Octavius.
I probably have.
Oh, and maybe
but
that
I
was some inspiration there.
Probably like, yeah, subliminally.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Power of the sun.
as a child, I understood Picasso's quote, "Great artist steals." So,
But like that's
You can be
impressive,
inspired by
right?
it. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
yeah, and then
All the other kids are like farting. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know what other kids
Or
did.
if they tried to write about time travel, they'd be
Fighting.
like, I go on my treehouse. And he's
Yeah.
like, no, you need fusion to
Yeah,
time
I
travel.
did Google like fusion equations and wrote them onto the thing.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm like, well, that's the stuff these people would know. They'd be all about relativity.
So do other kids drive you nuts then? If they like their wavelengths were so different from yours?
Oh, you're all so dumb.
I wouldn't say, well, like, I'd say when I was younger, like really little, a little bit, like there's a prime age of angst between like 10 and 12. But I think that's just a normal age of
Yeah.
angst.
Yeah.
But when I was really little, we're all just kids.
Yeah.
And so I was just like a little bit weirder. But, you know, from an early age, if we're like doing a game of pretend, it's like a game of improv. So if you just yes and everybody has
Yeah.
a good time,
Yeah.
then eventually people just didn't want to follow the rules. And I was like, what's going on? I was very,
Guys, there's rules for a reason. We need to follow them.
yeah. And I was always very confused why like people were impolite. I'm like, and this is going to sound super manipulative. But as a child, I was like, if you follow the rules and are polite, people want to do things for you. Come on, you got to play the game.
Yeah.
When I am sweet, I
Yeah.
get the things I want.
I get the things I want. Yeah,
I mean, that's probably the nicest form of manipulation
still manipulation.
because you're still being nice to people.
Yeah.
But do you think most kids are even self-aware enough to realize that?
I don't know. And it's a thing where it's like, yeah, I don't know if I wanted to be that self-aware at that age.
Yeah.
Because then, like, this is something me and my mom talked about actually the other day, was one day I would have been like 8. And I feel like at this age, it's pretty normal to like understand a little bit the concept of death, you know? But then I would have been 8. But then I was like, wait a second. That means I'll die. Then everybody I know will die. And then eventually, because time passes, the people that know those people will die. And, you know, we all die, but no one will remember us.
Wow.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
sparked this?
I believe it was just like a scary story, right?
Okay.
So I read my friend told me a scary story. I was like, so then I was just thinking about like people dying, you
so
know.
early childhood trauma.
Yeah, I saw a video. It was like someone's like it was like horrifying facts, and they're like, someday down the road, your name will be mentioned for the last time. And I'm like, oh,
No.
okay,
Oh.
cool.
The story was like about a creepy doll. I remember it clearly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then it was just like, that was not the thing that scared me. It was just like, oh, wait a second. We all die. Mm-hmm. And my specific thinking was like, no one in a scary story thinks we're in a scary story. Mm-hmm. But like every story has the scariest ending, which is death. So that was what I went through a whole thing of like, that's what was on my mind.
Wow.
I actually want to interrupt this story with a creepy doll story.
Oh,
is that
okay.
acceptable?
Sure.
Yes, it is.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
This is not
Okay.
a Halloween episode. It's
No.
just, you know.
No.
Yeah.
It can be.
I don't know. I was a kid and I had a bunch of dolls like kids have.
Yep.
And one night
Why
in the
would you
middle
have dolls? That's so
I was
weird.
like, girl,
and
stop
unusual.
it. Stop it. Anyway, so in the middle of the night, there was a voice speaking in my room, and I just heard Mama. And I was like, I woke up and I was so scared, and then there was no sound for a long time. And I was like, okay, so you're a kid, you start going back to sleep. You think you probably imagined it. Nope. Mama. And I was like, so I called my mom.
Yeah. You called your mom out.
Yeah, no, well, Mom. And so mom comes down and she finds this doll and she picks it up and it says Mama at her. And she's like, what is it doing? What's going on? And it just wouldn't stop saying it. And my mom was trying to get out batteries or whatever was going on in there, and it wouldn't stop.
Kept going.
So I think it was 2-3 in the morning, and my mom just went outside and threw it in the dumpster, out in the garbage, because she was like, we can't get it to stop talking. She was afraid. I was afraid. And yeah, it's probably still saying Mama out there somewhere.
Saying Mama in a landfill, you just hear Mama.
There's something really scary about that in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
It's just,
there was a
did
thing
not
a while
enjoy that
ago
experience.
about people's Amazon Alexa speakers just going off by itself.
No.
And there was some glitch with it thought that it had heard a prompt, but it didn't.
Oh, I hate that. Oh, it makes me so uncomfortable.
So it'd be in the middle of the night, you're in their bedroom, and it'd be like, yeah, sure thing. And then there was ones where it was laughing.
I hate this.
It was laughing.
I didn't know they could laugh.
Well, they can do a lot. They can fart. You can be like, play a fart for me. I'm like, okay, here's a fart. That was a wet one. And you can ask it. You could tell it a joke and it would laugh.
See, that doesn't scare me. That's fine.
Yeah, but just randomly in the middle of the night, your Amazon Alexa laughing.
Yeah, no, I really strongly dislike that. That makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Not to be a super downer.
Yeah.
But so people pooled time and resources to make this little robot box fart.
Yeah.
People are starving.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if something's
Our world is a broken place.
Our world's a broken place. If only there was a solution.
Yeah.
No, but
speaking of solutions,
yes,
you recently went to Bible college.
I went to Bible college. We should talk about that.
Why don't you tell us about it? Honestly, I want to hear. I want to hear a bunch of stuff.
I went to Holsbybrunn in Sweden, part of the Torchbeares organization. I was there for 6 months.
Hold up. Mm-hmm. The Torchbearers organization.
Yeah, Torchbearers,
Levi's afraid that it's some kind of secret society.
It is not a secret society.
I just don't know anything about this. What?
So
how did you discover the school? What are they about?
Okay,
why did you decide to go there?
I'll do the last question first because it's the easiest and has a very shallow answer. I want to travel Europe.
Well, you just answered it now, so
yeah. So I learned it from Kelsey Cannikins.
Okay.
Yeah, because she went there.
Is it a Cape and Ray school?
No, but there's a Cape and Ray in there, in the same area.
Oh, okay.
But Torchbearers is a whole separate thing. It's an international
like a Masons thing.
No, it's like an international Bible school. It was started after World War II.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Some history.
By this guy Major Ian Thomas. Fun fact: his grandson was the director at the school in Sweden, Luke Thomas, and he was also a lecturer. Really fun guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Major Ian Thomas, he served in the military.
For Sweden?
No, for England, actually. He was British.
Okay.
And then he and his wife bought this castle. They did not have the money, but they managed to find the money to do this.
Wow.
And that's because he was stationed in Germany after the war. And he saw a lot of young people, a lot of young Germans, with no avenue to learn about the Bible.
Wow.
And he was like, you know what? This is a very...
Germany needs Jesus.
Yeah, Germany needs Jesus, and these young people need it. And, right now, the world's very divided.
Yes.
And so he started this school. He brought in the Germans. So it's a very popular thing in Germany to go to Torchbearers. Mm-hmm. And then from that, a school was started, and then it spread all over the world.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd never heard about this before. So was the school you went to the first castle they bought?
No. So that was that's called Ravenscrest. It's in Britain.
I feel like I've heard that name
before.
Yeah.
So they're not really known by their torchbearer thing. It's known by the place they're in or
right.
Yeah. So then mine's just called, the one I went to is just called Holsby. The Swedish name for torchbearer is Falkenberna. Mm-hmm. So that's a fun fact for you.
Cool.
Can you speak a lot of the language now?
No.
You said that so fluently.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
But I was surrounded by.
How would you know? You don't speak.
I don't know.
No,
It
not
sounded
Swedish.
cool. It sounded cool.
It did sound cool. But I was surrounded by like a lot of Germans actually.
Okay.
Because of, the
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your? Yeah. Was there more to the question?
Yes, I just hadn't heard about the school before, and
Okay.
that you decided to go there because you just wanted to go to Europe.
I wanted to go to Europe because I've never been to Europe before.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Kelsey's a pretty trustworthy person.
very trustworthy
Seems to
person.
enjoy her time.
I think so.
Is she? So you decided to go to the school. What was there a specific course you had picked?
It's not
general.
So here's a fun
general
fact about
studies.
this: the Swedish government does not view it as a school.
Oh, okay.
It's more of like a retreat center.
Oh.
okay.
And I would say that's pretty accurate. It's not super academic. You're not majoring in anything.
Do they
Okay.
give you spa days?
No spa days, but the place was actually once a spa.
Oh, sweet.
So like, there's a whole history behind this place. It's pretty fun. Of like, it's all built around this well, and there's like natural hot springs.
Oh, what?
So, yeah, that's pretty fun. But like,
And that's just part of your daily experience? You get to,
no, the hot
okay.
springs were converted for one house in particular, and some of the other housing to have natural heating,
Oh.
which is really nice. But then the rest of it is just like wood, like giant furnaces. And then that was actually my job, was a furnacer, so I'd have to get up at like a very early hour and start the fire so we would have hot water.
What hour is a very early hour?
So it ranged depending on the weather.
Okay.
So normal day, just average Swedish weather, wake up at like 6:30. I said like earlier than I would want to be awake,
Oh, yeah.
but not that bad.
Yeah.
Some days, though, it was a lot colder.
Yeah.
So I would be awake at like 5 in the morning,
Yeah.
or maybe even a wee bit earlier than that.
And you
Yeah.
all had to take turns doing this, or you were the chosen one?
So it was me and 3 other guys, and we rotated.
Did you volunteer for this? Or
Nope.
What?
Nope. And then there was a point where I had to clean the chimney, so I'm up on the roof.
So you said there's not a lot of focus on academics. So what was your day to day like? What
So
besides cleaning chimneys and taking care of the furnace?
the day to day was
What were you
actually
doing?
we would have 5 hours of lectures every day. So you like 3 in the morning.
That sounds academic.
It
to
was
me.
like academic, but it's not like a college where you're majoring in something or like.
yeah.
But you do have lectures and you have to write stuff. And some people found it very academic. I didn't. But I don't know. It's just personal, like whatever you're into.
So what were the lectures on?
It'd be a different topic every week.
Yeah.
And then you would have we had a lot of guest lecturers. So a topic would be like, going through the book of Genesis or the book of Luke or talking about concepts. We had an entire lecture day dedicated to hell. That was a fun one. But we did vote for that one.
Yeah.
Because the option was that or modern culture. And
Oof.
the one lecturer we had, he was like the main guy. He's the dean of students. And he had this thing called Issues in Perspective, where he would talk about issues through like a Christian lens. And a lot of us were really tired of all the things he was talking about with culture. Because he went through the book of Daniel. But he didn't really talk about the book of Daniel that much, just like how the modern world's a lot like Babylon. So then the next week is like, so what do you guys want to do? We all voted for hell, which shows how much we enjoyed those lectures.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was like, I would rather learn about eternal conscious torment than whatever you're talking
Yeah.
about.
And was it a good lesson?
On
Did you
hell?
learn some stuff?
I did, however, it was, I feel like not every view was like represented as well as it could have been. Which,
Like they didn't go in depth enough. Like what do you?
but this is my problem with his lecturer in general,
Yeah.
where he's a very good lecturer, very smart man,
Yeah.
but a lot of topics, if he thought like he didn't agree with it, he thought it was unbiblical, he didn't really present it in its most charitable form. You know?
Okay.
Which I get it, but also it's like that is one man's opinion in
Yeah.
a room of like 60 people or whatever.
You just felt he wasn't being fair to the different views.
Yeah, different viewpoints. And not even
Yeah.
like wacky viewpoints, just
Yeah.
like historically held viewpoints that like you know,
So he had a biased.
yeah, like the weirdest one that he had a bias against was like the idea of like annihilationism, with like if you don't believe in like if you're not saved, then when you die it's just nothing. Because like atheists and like what was it, like not Mormons, atheists and like some other like religious thing like believed in that. I'm like, well, yeah, it doesn't mean it's not. If you think about it, that doesn't make it like a wrong thing. That just makes that other belief sad.
Yeah.
When I was in Christian theology, when I was in Bible school, I left that class with a headache every single day.
Yeah.
Every day. But that's because like you grow up and you're like, this is the way it is, and the Bible clearly says this. But then in the Christian theology class, they would take each topic, and so like for example, hell was one of the topics, and it was like it can show you with Bible verses how two different options are fully supported by the Bible.
Yeah.
And I would leave every day with like a genuine headache because I'm like, what? I'm like, then what do we do? And like, of course people are arguing about this, and so there's
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Based on the different interpretations. We're kind of doing like a theology course right now in young adults at the church here. Steve is like taking this like book that you would get for a Christian maybe this is the same
it's
book.
the one.
I don't know. And kind of just like picking topics to cover in it. And so next week we're talking about the end times, and it's gonna be a long evening, I feel like.
oh, that's gonna be fun.
You're just gonna
there's-
start with the Left Behind series.
Can we just watch Left Behind
Rapture,
first?
only truth. If
Yeah.
you think otherwise, heretic.
And that's one of the things that it covers. But yeah, there's been several times where it's like, well, there's different ways to interpret this, and here are the options. You know, like you guys can discuss what you're thinking about this, or what you're feeling about this, you know, and how you're interpreting it. And there's a lot of times where like, well, we don't know, you know,
Yeah.
like
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just
like
gonna
we
say,
talked about the Trinity one week.
Oh yeah, that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
You ever watched that video about Patrick?
And how like all his fallacies.
Patrick?
good.
Yeah. Like St. Patrick's
Oh,
bad analogies.
Why would you say that, Patrick? Yeah, Patrick.
Patrick, that's a heresy. It's a good video. I recommend it. We actually saw that one in class.
It's so
Oh,
funny, because it's so
okay.
hard to explain.
Yeah.
Oh, you mentioned the Rapture. Have you ever seen a prank done really well with the Rapture?
A prank done really well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you saw one.
Yeah, just really recently on, I think it was on Netflix. They've got that guy who does like magic for humans.
Yeah.
And he has decided to use his magician giftings or whatever to help prank people.
For
So, like,
evil.
Yeah. Good, evil, whatever you want to say. So he went out of his way to prank somebody. So he started it. He convinced a man that he was invisible. Because like he was able to do this because he talked to the crowd in advance, and so the guy thought it was just a random crowd of strangers, but they all knew what was going on, and so the man thought he was invisible and had this like it's a breakdown.
They put like
thing,
a blanket on him.
Yeah.
And then they take the blanket off, and the whole crowd is like, "Wait, where did he go? He disappeared."
They're
And
actively ignoring
and then the one guy
him.
goes up and takes a selfie, but it's a picture he took beforehand, and the guy's not in the picture. So he's like, after that happens, he's like, oh shoot, like, and this whole crowd is not looking at him, so he's like convinced he's invisible.
So then, as evil siblings do, I guess this became like a big sensation everywhere, where like people were doing this to their siblings. So there's a girl who posted online with her brother's reaction. He was just a little kid, and he just was bawling and just totally
You've
destroyed.
probably seen this video.
And so he grew up and contacted this magician and said, hey, can you help me prank my sister and get her back? And so he has this ridiculous budget. I don't know.
Yeah.
The stuff you can just
All the
do.
special effects they did. Yeah.
And the actors he hired or whatever. And so had his mom take his sister out for supper at this like restaurant that looked really legit. They're ordering their drinks. The guy from the original video was their waiter, which is also funny, but like serves them their like pink lemonades or whatever. And then all of a sudden, like the TVs turn with these news stories about how there's been like this huge amount of missing person reports and they don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden the news anchor starts like kind of freaking out. Everything goes kind of black and there's like the emergency signal going on. And then he turned off all the lights in the restaurant for like 5 seconds and turn it back on. And she's the only person there. There's no one there. Their clothes are left behind. but that's it. And he rigged something up where like she sees one person standing near like the bar area, and so she's like, sir, and by the time she reaches him, it was some kind of like deflating situation because the clothes just dropped to the ground and it had been in a human shape. And I'm watching like, this is amazing. Well, I don't know how you
What a
process stuff
traumatic
like that. Yeah.
experience.
Very traumatic.
Some of
Somewhat
the end
evil.
times, yeah.
I would want to do that to a very rapture-y person.
A rapture person.
I'm just so convinced.
But like,
that would be so terrible.
but my big biblical hot take is I'm not really a rapture guy. I don't
Yeah.
think that's the way it would go down.
Yeah.
But I think the whole point is no one knows the way it would go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing is when everyone thinks they do know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, the eclipse has come and gone, and we're
Yeah, but
Still
there's
here.
a
And
theory
maybe
now
only 2 people were
that
saying,
the
Oh,
eclipse was
no.
the starting point. And so 40 days from then, I think I was told it was May 15th is when the next real end of the world will be.
the real
Because that
rapture.
just sparked the beginning of the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
man,
So we're 9 days into this, and nothing has
Yeah.
really changed.
So I told Tyler, because his birthday is on the 16th, I was like,
Oh,
we
he
don't,
doesn't
it's
get
too
to
bad.
celebrate
Yeah.
his birthday.
Yeah. Just
Oh.
like misses out by a day. So.
Oh, a conference. We don't get to have conference.
Yeah. So it's, all
All
that
this
work.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just for,
Nothing.
it's just too late. Yeah.
Wait, so on the 15th,
Yeah.
the Lord will return?
I don't know. I didn't
Okay.
investigate the theory. I'm just
Okay.
repeating what I was told.
It's funny that God said no one knows the day or the hour of
Oh,
his
yeah.
return.
But clearly,
except
Joe
me.
down the
I
street
know.
really does
but
know.
that changed. We do know.
we do
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm smart enough to figure out God.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you just read the stars better.
If you just
God
look at
told
your
me.
tea
He didn't
leaves,
tell
why
Jesus,
don't you?
but he told me. Yeah. Yeah.
It's, wait, yeah.
I love
It's also-
stuff.
It's sometimes
crazy.
Yeah, it's sometimes how I feel about Calvinism too.
Oh my gosh.
Calvinists. We all know one.
The tulipers.
Ooh. I'm Yeah. There's a lot of Calvinists at my school. Great people, very nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Met like one of my very close friends would be like consider herself like a soft Calvinist at the school, or like not super extreme.
I saw some meme the other day about Calvinists, and it was like how someone was predestined to be saved, but they weren't accepting it, so they're like beating them up, saying like, "Accept Jesus."
How do you determine who is predestined?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, exactly.
well,
That's the problem with Calvinism.
well, here's me. I'm gonna elaborate on my hot take.
Okay.
It's a very easy way to exclude people groups you don't like.
I guess.
Like, well, those people are not saved, so therefore not meant to be saved.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very easy excuse. I don't think people who are Calvinists would like think that, but that is a way of thinking to have.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if they didn't do it, then obviously they want to be damned.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Dax,
the whole thing.
I was so optimistic when we talked about your Bible school that this would be inspirational for others to want to go.
I should.
So far, we've heard some pretty interesting things about you becoming the chimney sweep and getting up really early in the morning, how they deprived you of hot springs, how they forced you to learn about hell.
Yeah, sorry.
He signed up for this school. They didn't
I
force
signed
him
up
to
for
learn
this.
about
They
hell.
didn't force me nothing.
They actually picked hell, so
No, we voted for it. No, this is an example of why Calvinists are wrong. Free will. I exhibited it.
Oh, no. So what else can you tell us about
I actually
do you have any positive experiences?
Yes,
you
it
wanna
was
tell us
all a
about?
very positive experience. Sorry, I just think it's funny to be like negative, but not in like a pouty way,
Yeah.
but just in like,
Quit pouting so much.
yeah, no, that's not funny. If someone's just like, it was terrible, because that's untrue. I had a really great time, but maybe it's because I had such a great time. I want to like punch
Yeah, right.
punch
Yeah.
at it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I had a really great
Your
time.
nitpicking is.
Hey, that's
yeah.
good. You
Yeah.
had a good time.
I had such a good time, but I have to nitpick.
yeah.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't think I'm nitpicking, because I learned a lot. Even if like a lecturer or someone would say something wacky or wild, it prompted me to look deeper into the Bible.
Well, and I think too, if anyone knows
love
Dax, that you just like to think about things. You just
You are a
ask
philosopher.
questions.
I like to think. Yeah.
yeah.
But I had a really good time. It was a really helpful thing for me, actually, because I learned a lot about myself, which this is super cheesy, and like I'm gonna say this, and people like
Probably
whoever
not cheesy.
Well, it is a little bit. But people who will listen to this will be like, yeah, but that won't happen to me. It will happen to you. I'm looking directly at you. All right? Whoever you are, this will happen to you. You'll go to Bible school.
If you're watching on YouTube.
And you'll come back a different person. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a fact of, like, anything. You go away for a long time,
Yeah.
you change. But
I was talking about this to someone else the other day. You're like, you're speed running your faith. Like, you're just like, because you don't have to work, because you don't have other responsibilities besides like studying scripture and theology and spending time in word and prayer. It's just like you get this opportunity to condense this down to like a short time, but a lot of it, like what you learned is something that probably if you were working and had other responsibilities would take longer to get there. But you've had this wonderful opportunity to condense that down and do it fast. Like,
oh, yeah,
you know?
definitely. And it's because, like, I think this is just a general Bible school thing, but you're in like a bubble.
Yeah.
So you're with a bunch of Christian people, or at the very
a
least,
lot of less distractions.
lawless
from the
distractions
world.
from the world. And then I know for me personally, like, just at a faith point, I was like, I don't know, like a low point, just as in it wasn't like a conscious thing in my life, you know, not like a thing I would consider, right? And so I kind of had the attitude like, I'll go to Holsby, to Sweden, I'll have a really good time.
Yeah.
I'll travel. I'll probably learn some things, but I don't think it will affect me that much,
Right.
like as a person or
But it did?
spiritual. Oh, it affected me a lot. Yeah, I'm a very different person now.
Tell us about that.
So one thing I really learned is that it really depends. I'm a very stubborn person, right? So if I have my mind, or if I think like I understand something, then I'm like, okay, I understand this.
Yeah.
But a really great thing about Bible school is they want you to read through the Bible, of course. But then that means like rereading the like day one kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like rereading the Gospels and then re-examining like the character of Jesus, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I know the Gospels. Like I know the character of Jesus.
Yeah.
So I've read this before, but just in a new context, in a point of view where I have to like really dive deep, you just connect with it differently.
Yeah.
And
Well, like reading John 3:16 is one thing.
yeah.
Reading John 3:16 in its context is like, oh,
That's a whole nother
There's
thing.
a lot of different layers
Or
to
like
this.
Jesus with quotes such as "Let the dead bury their own dead."
Yeah.
It's like this guy. I thought he was a lot more fun than this.
Right.
But it's like, oh yeah, no. Jesus asks things of people.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not like he is of course wonderfully kind and patient, but also
Yeah.
he like will ask things of you that are difficult.
Yeah.
And it was really good to read because like I'm someone who always wants answers,
Yeah.
right? But then
It's funny because we just, I feel like I'm bringing this up again. We did, Steve did a sermon series on tough questions because he's like, Jesus actually asks a lot more questions than he gives answers in the Gospels. So like, instead, like it's that famous, like, well, why don't I'm going to answer your question with another question, like it's just to get you thinking like, well, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
Well, what if I ask you this? What does that make you think about? And I think it's such a clever way to make people learn something, right?
yeah, it is. It's very clever because I'm someone who wants answers, I had a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah.
And that was a point of frustration for me.
Yeah.
Because like, I want to know. Well, it's also like if like dedicating yourself to anything, you want to do all of it and you don't want to leave out the bits that are uncomfortable or, you don't understand, right? Because then what's the point of doing it?
Yeah.
And so like, I really want the questions to those answers. What I learned is that God doesn't owe me an answer. But instead, what I really learned was the nature of just like having like an open heart and then like submission to God is what I learned, which was not something that was really, I don't know, I wouldn't say not a factor, but like it was like, oh, I want to know the answer. instead
Yeah,
of-
that's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are the kind of person who like you want to know things and
I
you
want
do
the
the
facts, I
research
want the
and
answers,
you
and I want to understand why that is the way it is.
and don't just give me a simple stupid answer. Like
Yeah.
you really want to know.
Yeah, no, like don't give me an answer to
So
keep
how
me
did-
quiet.
how did you get to that place of submission? Because that's a hard thing for a lot of people to do, because we have such a broken world where people's trust is being broken on a daily basis. How did you come to trust God enough that you were willing to submit, to understand that you can just trust him and you don't need the answers?
Well, before I got to that point, I gave my testimony.
Yeah.
And I've given my testimony kind of before, but never like the full thing. And then like having written out the whole thing, I was like, huh.
You're seeing a pattern.
I'm seeing a pattern, and not only a pattern, but like where I'm currently at, like a low point.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's an unsatisfying ending.
Yeah. That's because we got these like blinders on to just this moment and where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to see, like, and when you take that step back and you see this, like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's this story that God has been working through my life over the years. But when you're just going moment to moment, you don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was also like a lot of things that have happened in my life, or that I've known happened to other people.
Yeah.
It's like, why did that happen?
Right.
And I wanted the answer to that.
Yeah.
And so one thing I observed, though, and this is where like the observation thing comes in, which I think is funny, was like I was looking at all these people here, and they're here for a reason, but not for like a superfluous reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're here because they're called or because they want to learn, but like there's something of value to be gained by being here and by learning.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just, then I was just like, okay, obviously like this is important, it is valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's not something to just be like shrugged off. So like if I want to be at that point that they're at, like what's the key difference?
Yeah.
And so it was just me being like, all right, well, I want an answer. I don't think I'm going to get that. So what should I do instead? I just did something I haven't really done before, which was like, I'm just going to pray and just be like, all right, I'm just going to submit. And whatever questions I have, you don't have to answer. Just the one thing I asked was like to feel, like just to feel you, right?
Yeah.
To God.
Yeah.
And then the next week, our lecture was on the book of Luke. It was called Face to Face to Jesus, and it almost made me cry.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like very immediate. Where I was also
Which is not like you.
very unlike me. No, where I was actually like almost annoyed. I was like scared. Where I was like, hold on,
Like,
no.
what are you doing? Why are
Like,
you saying that?
This wasn't where. It really shows an attitude problem I
Yeah.
have. Where like, this wasn't supposed to work.
Yeah.
I was supposed to do this, but nothing happened. Like, oh well.
Yeah.
I tried.
I
Is there
tried.
something in the water? Like,
No, but it's like, okay. And it's not even just like being at Bible school,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or like just being in this environment, because I thought maybe it's just that. Because then just like being out of that environment, traveling,
Yeah.
like I'm still having that mindset. And even now, like in my day-to-day life, it's like something I'm still thinking about and just constantly like, you
So
know.
God spoke to you through the book of Luke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
through the book of Luke, and
Yeah.
just even
Through
like
that lecture.
through that lecture.
Yeah.
And it was like, huh.
Yeah.
That's-
That's something that's going to stick with you probably forever.
Yeah, that was something.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. And then it was like, so then like, it became like, oh, wow, I was very resistant. I was very
Yeah.
stubborn. Just because, I don't know, again, don't like to submit. I want
Yeah.
to know things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. People who know you know that that's a huge deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so I was like,
So you're very analytical.
very analytical, still feeling it. And then like our last lecture was on the book of David, right? And it was a very good lecture, or because it was on the life of David. And I said book before.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
No, there's no
I was going to correct that. I'm like, let it go.
Yeah.
the life of David. Sorry.
Psalms?
Are you sure it wasn't the
No, but we
book
went.
of Hezekiah?
No,
I did a lesson a few weeks ago about
Making
lies and
sure,
how do you
yeah.
spot truth, and
Yeah.
so I created my
Yeah.
own Bible verse, Hezekiah 4:12.
nice.
Thankfully, a lot of the kids were like,
Like,
wait a
what?
sec.
Or
I'm like,
doesn't-
do you know what's
or
in there?
that like one verse in Timothy about false teachers. That's you know. It's like, hey,
Dax, you might remember this. Do you remember years ago when we had a fake news story about how the age for your driver's license changed?
yes.
We did that to them again.
Yeah,
Love that.
we knew it had been long enough that no one that was
Deceive
in the
the
youth
children.
group still knew, so
Nice.
we
Yeah.
pulled up a
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
one.
Anyways,
Yeah. What was I talking about?
You were talking about the Book of David.
The Life of David.
The Book of David.
I did it.
See,
The Life of David.
The Life of
David.
David.
And it was very good because, so I was close friends to this one married couple. They're like early 20s, very smart people and very cool people. Like became really tight with them.
Dax approved.
Dax approved. We're actually in a group chat on WhatsApp called The People, which we basically used to complain about lectures we didn't think were that good. It was really mean. But it was because these people knew so much about the Bible and theology.
Yeah.
And they're not like actually nitpicky or like super conservative, no fun people.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, no, there's another interpretation.
Yeah.
And so David's a bad dude.
Yes.
If you look at him, like all the things he did.
But he's a man after God's own heart.
He's a man's after God.
Eventually.
He's a man's after God.
It's after his own heart for a while.
Well, he's a man after God's own choosing.
Yeah.
God
yeah.
chooses him. And
Yeah.
then through, like, that is actually a thing we all went through, like, the Hebrew word for heart and how there's no distinction between heart and mind, and, like, what that means in context. And it was like, oh, no, it's a man after God's own choosing, you know? I was like, oh, yeah, that's an important distinction.
Yeah.
Like, God chooses this man who does love God, but who's also, like, a selfish person who does a lot of bad things,
Yep.
especially to Bathsheba.
Yeah.
That was
yikes.
we had a whole thing about that.
Oh, yeah.
And then that was
Rubber
really,
ducky.
yeah. It was
King George.
King
Rubber
George.
ducky.
We introduced
VeggieTales.
Germans to that.
Have you not seen that?
I have not.
The VeggieTales depiction of the story of Bathsheba?
I'm realizing Tyler's kind of upset. There's a bit of a gap in my VeggieTales history.
Yeah,
gosh.
you need to
He's
get
like,
on that.
I know this song.
Yeah.
We Are the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything, but
you
I've
not
never
seen the
seen the
movie?
movie. Yeah, I know.
Oh, there's before the movie, there's just episodes of VeggieTales that have them in it. Okay, so King David and Bathsheba
Oh,
and
okay.
all that.
Yes.
They were like, how do we adapt this to a children's VeggieTales Christian show?
You can't.
They did.
Okay.
They changed it from
A woman
person
to
a
an
woman
object.
to a rubber ducky. And so he sees this other person playing with a rubber ducky and
Okay.
sends that person off to war so he can steal the rubber ducky.
You know,
Even though he has shelves full of rubber duckies.
it's not maybe the best metaphor.
It's not the best.
But if you think
they
about how
tried.
David would view women,
I guess. Yeah.
they're
I
just
guess, yeah.
rubber duckies. He has shelves
Item
of
for
them.
the shelf.
Yeah, but
Oh,
like
man.
just going into the character of David and being like, man, this guy kind of sucks a lot
Yeah.
of the time and
Yeah.
does not do the right thing.
But he's still a hero of the faith.
He's still a hero of the faith. Why is that? And it's like, well, think about yourself and your
Yeah.
own life. A lot of you are probably not as bad as David, but yeah, there's a picture of that. But you know, it was the acknowledgement
Oh,
that
no.
we're all broken and we all need God. And that was the point that did it. Was I was like stubborn. It was like, well, do I necessarily need it? And I was like, oh no, I do.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I was never more aware of my own brokenness as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's actually, it's a good moment.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
moment.
It's a hard moment.
It's just humbling.
Yeah,
And no
oh,
one likes
yeah.
to be humbled.
No.
No.
No. But it's important.
It's very important to be humbled.
I'm so humble.
My apple crumble is by far the most crumblest. But I act like it tastes bad and a humbleness. The Lonely Island.
Which we don't condone.
No.
Well-
we don't support.
My mom does.
Good
Your
for
mom
Jenna.
and I actually put together a video once. Do you remember that? The 10 Commandments. We're in youth group then.
I don't.
We took the "So I Threw It on the Ground" song and we did that for
That
the
one's
10
pretty clean, I
Commandments.
think. That one we can.
Most of it.
Yeah.
Till the
So,
end.
there's like a middle part.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we enjoyed that. So part of it, we were trying to demonstrate like the 10 Commandments or whatever to the best of our ability. And so like, I don't know, do not murder. Obviously I'm sitting on a couch. Your mom comes up and pretends to murder me. Like we dramatically did as much as we could, but we're like, what do we do with adultery? And so your mom had an old cell phone and it was already broken. And so she was pretending to be texting some guy. And then your dad showed up and picked it up and smashed the phone.
I do not remember that. I did not know my dad.
It was super
I
funny.
don't remember that
Yeah, oh yeah. That video has to exist somewhere.
somewhere.
Yeah. But it was
On a
pretty funny.
server,
But
probably.
anytime, every part of it was like, so I threw it on the
ground. Yeah. I did see the video.
We tried to be relevant.
That you, my mom, and Mike Duncalf made, like.
Oh
singing.
no, the Peaches
Yeah,
song.
the Peaches.
Oh man.
I think that video is
That's
on
still around.
this YouTube channel because I went to make this YouTube channel for the podcast and we already had a YouTube channel.
Ooh, delete
And
that swiftly.
Don't
that
delete
video, it's privated, but
Okay.
it's on this channel if
Hey.
you're watching. Technically, this was that channel at one point that had that
Cool.
Yeah,
video.
it's going to move to the country. Eat a lot of peaches.
Yeah. I think, let me double check.
Great song.
I had a bass guitar then, so we just took it out into the woods and
Nice.
your mom and I pretended to rock out.
You had a bass guitar, and then you would go on to marry Tyler,
I
a
did.
bass player.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. Does God put stuff like that?
And
it's
headbangs.
It's foreshadowing.
To heavy metal
Headbangs. Yeah.
with his long hair.
With his long hair. With his perfect heavy metal hair.
It is perfect.
It's called Hillcrest Youth Lip Sync Challenge video. Does that sound right?
From how old is that video?
On the bottom there?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Oh, what a nightmare.
8 years ago.
Should we just make that public again?
I don't think so.
No?
I
I
don't think
mean-
that's a good idea.
It's actually unlisted. I could link it in the description.
There's a song on there, so we'd get banned.
But you guys covered it, didn't you?
No.
Oh.
No, they were just
Well, no,
singing
it's
along
that
to
video's
it.
not banned yet, so we would just
Yes,
link
yeah.
it. And,
I'll
And then it
report
would
it.
get banned.
I'll go home and report it.
but you can still have a copyright. It can be like copywritten, but you can still have it on YouTube. So
Yeah.
it's okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
keep it there.
Just instantly,
Great.
you get a comment it's like, I don't think this is appropriate.
Or should I just hit
channel.
delete? Is
Just
that more
delete it.
favorable?
That's
No.
fine.
Actually, my mom has a copy, so it exists.
We'll just leave it for
Yeah,
now.
your mom and I used to make a lot of videos around here.
Yeah.
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 We got one. We had one where we had all of the staff. Oh my word! We had all of the staff like chucking stuff and "You Can't Stop Me." We played Andy Minio's "You Can't Stop Me," and I don't really know what motivated that. It must have had some reason. We once did like the Jacob and Esau story, and I don't even remember which one of us had to put on the like giant sheep's costume to be hairy
For
like
Esau.
Esau. Yeah, we used to do this all the time.
And then
we
you were
also used to
tricking-
wear little like these like pink turtleneck shirts because we wanted to be really relevant for the teenagers so that they would know
Yeah.
how very cool we were. So
Yeah.
we used to play that up all the time.
Yeah, I remember
We had
that.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of pink turtleneck videos for a while.
That's great.
Well, what can I say? My mom likes to have fun.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
I'm such a good time. Notorious fun.
I know.
haver.
You take after her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually don't think I'm that fun.
What?
I feel like I can, like an old man most of the time.
That's
Really?
why we like having you around, Dax.
Oh yeah, but then I get very tired. One thing I found out about Sweden and myself was we all did outreaches,
Okay.
and mine was teaching English to kids
Mm-hmm.
in public schools. I found out I could not be a teacher because nothing drains me more than being in a room with a bunch of kids where I'm like, please,
You just don't have the patience.
not patience. It's just I don't particularly enjoy being around children.
Okay.
Like little kids? Or
Like-
I happen to agree with that. I don't know what to say. I feel like most people are afraid of teenagers. I love working with teenagers.
I don't
But
love
when I'm
teenagers
around,
either.
like, I don't know if I like,
What age?
what do you mean?
Like what age of kid do you not like?
Like
being around?
drains me?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's different. Like my nephews are different to me. Like I love them so much.
Yeah.
But like my mom worked in a daycare for years. We did this little like thing where you're in high school, you have to like take your kid to work day or whatever. And there were several days where I went to work with my mom and she worked in a daycare with 3-year-olds. And the days of my life have never, ever been longer. Like I still feel what it felt like. I felt like I was stuck. I hated it. Every problem was the worst. Time would not pass. I hated it. They drained me so hard. I don't know what to say.
I'm telling Noah.
But Noah's an adult.
He's an adult. No, but yeah.
Do you know what Alicia said
It's a
about
struggle.
Yeah, you know what Alicia said? That you tie
you? She
her
doesn't
out.
like you.
She doesn't like you.
Poison his sweet little mind. You know I like him.
Yeah.
I won't say that.
No,
I'm kidding.
but yeah, these kids would have been like, I was like between grade 4 to grade 6. But also, I don't like teenagers scare me too.
Me
They
too.
scare you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like,
Were you scared of yourself for a while?
well, no, I was just like, I don't know. Again, like just this cantankerous old man
Hmm.
just stuck in a
At
young
life
man's
groups,
body.
you're like, well, 9:00, better go to bed.
Just
See you guys.
watching all the bad decisions being made
I
before
guess
you.
so. And it's like, it makes me anxious.
Yeah.
The bad
Yeah, I
decisions
don't remember
being
Dax
made.
ever being a problem at youth. So
No.
Yeah,
No.
literally never.
Well, that's the thing where, yeah, bad decisions do make me anxious.
Yep. Mhm.
But that also might,
you're watching
Ty.
your friend make a bad decision. You're like,
it's like, don't. But that also might tie into something I found out about myself is I'm a massive people pleaser.
Oh.
So maybe it ties into that where
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I want to please people, but you're doing the thing that's unpleasing. So maybe I'm not more mature. I'm just eager to please.
There was a while where I was so frustrated with the decisions that some teenagers were making that I physically just like moved my hands like this. I'm like, I'm washing my hands of this. This is not my problem.
I like the phrase.
I have given this my best go.
Yeah, I've done my best. My hands
Yeah.
are clean.
I'm
I'm
washing.
Pontius Pilate.
I was thinking more of Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, which
It-
one was that? Is it?
Macbeth?
Yeah, Macbeth. Yeah,
But
I'm washing my.
But
It's not exactly like
she
that.
can't wash. That's the whole point. Out, you darn spot.
But that is kind of youth ministry. You know, I'm trying to wash my hands of it, but it's really not that.
I like to say, not my monkeys, not
It's
my
still my
circus,
problem, yeah.
You know? But that's why I'm not in youth ministry, because those are my monkeys, and I'm running a circus. And
we
I
have a lot of monkeys.
Yeah.
no.
So, yeah, I guess it's that. I don't actually have that much patience.
Banana stab.
Okay, next week we're so excited. They know this is coming. I'm just. Well,
Yeah.
maybe they don't know it's coming.
No,
Do
we
they know
told
it's
them,
coming?
didn't we?
Did we tell the kids or just the leaders?
I don't know. It's a
If they
it's
listen
a
to the
JourneyCast
podcast,
exclusive.
here's
yeah.
it. Yeah. So I always look for new innovative youth games. I don't want to be boring, and so this last week I found like a lot of really terrible games, and like I just
Terribly
kind of
good.
like roll my eyes at some of them, and I'm like, nope, would never do that. That's the worst. What a terrible idea. No one should ever do that. But then there was this one, and I was like, huh. I love this and I want to do it. And it doesn't make a lot of sense and it's very unusual. It's called Banana Stab.
Oh.
And so it's got the Scream mask guy holding
Yeah.
a banana in the promo.
Yeah.
And so basically you just give a couple of kids bananas and you blindfold them and you put them on opposite sides of the gym. And then, I mean, out of a courtesy, we might allow them to wear garbage bags.
Yeah.
But their job, while blindfolded, is to peel said banana, cross the gym, and be the first person to stab the other person
you
with
have
a
to find the
banana.
other person and stab them with your banana.
And I just couldn't think of anything weirder I've ever heard in my life. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to do that.
Yeah.
So Tuesday night is banana stab.
I think that's going to be a hit.
I hit.
A hit. Oh, I shouldn't hit the table.
Yeah.
Sorry. I apologize. I'm a very fidgety person by nature, so I always want to be tapping, but
Yeah,
I'll
but-
refrain.
Banana stab. You
I
know?
also feel like it will lead. Listen, teenagers, horrible Kremlins. They'll find a way to be awful. You could edit that out. That's just that's just
This is your optimism speaking.
that's my optimism speaking.
You
but
know what?
honestly, there are games where it's like, how did you find a way to break this game?
For example, Friday when you were here helping us with our murder mystery and our simple mushroom prop became deadly weapons all over the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And smash into the carpet and hitting people in their throats.
Yeah.
You know, because why wouldn't you
Throw mushrooms
chuck
at everyone
mushrooms
else.
at people? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's like stuff like that where I'm like, I can't wait to be old.
I'm so glad I'm an adult.
Yeah, I don't feel like an adult, but I can't wait to be old.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. There's a new trend happening where people don't want to face the fact that they'll grow old and die.
Yeah.
So it's like, listen, when I turn 60, don't hand me a mountain bike, all right? It's not the way. That's not my world. That's not my game. Just let me be old in my chair
Yes.
and like,
And not do adventurous things.
We'll make him
No.
drink Dr. Pepper. He'll be fine.
I love Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
So let me
He'll
do
be
that.
fine.
There's this news story of this lady. She's like 98 years old, or she might even be in her hundreds.
Yeah, I think she was in her husband.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
she's
you know.
like, how
Yeah.
did you live so long? She's like, Dr.
I
Pepper
drank
every
Dr.
day.
Pepper. And she says, my doctor told me I'd die because if I kept drinking it, but he died first.
Guess what?
Yeah.
So drink Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
That's Dax's advice.
She's like drinking it on the show. It's good
Okay.
stuff.
Speaking of advice, because I guess this
What
always
advice?
goes by so quickly.
Yeah.
Dax, if someone's considering going to Bible school,
Yes.
what would you say to them?
I would say definitely do it. And do it with like an open mind. And also when you get there, like it's very easy to be shy, especially if you're doing like an international thing. don't be afraid to just go out there and just do something weird, and I'll provide a little story.
Okay.
So at Holsby, they have this tradition of
Oh yeah, there was this. Oh yeah. Keep
you know what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Where it's your first day, they sort you by your birth month, and you all go on stage, and there's a table of objects. And like when it's your turn, you pick up an object, you say your name, where you're from, and why you picked that object.
What's on this table?
Just various little trinkets, like
Okay.
a candle, like a watch, a fishing pole, just something to say something about yourself, right? Or
Okay.
maybe an interest you would have, like a book or whatever, you know.
Okay.
It's just to help people get to know each other.
Yeah.
And it's a little weird, very fitting for like a church environment.
Right.
Banana stab.
Banana
Yep.
stab.
Banana stab.
Equivalency, yes. And so it was my turn, and I picked up the candle. I had no reason to pick up a candle. I have no special connection to candles.
Yeah.
It's just someone picked up a book already, and I didn't want to be boring. And so in this like brief split second, I have a thought. I could just like say something boring
Yeah.
or just say like, oh no, I like candles because it reminds me of home, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Or I could be funny.
Yeah.
And I chose to be funny.
Okay.
It's good.
And so what I said was, hi, my name is Dax. I'm from Medicine Hat, Alberta, Canada. And I picked the candle because I'll be the light of your world.
That's so beautiful.
And, you know, it's
So
just,
accurate.
it's so narcissistic. And it's something I kind of regret because then later
is.
on,
Yeah.
that's how I was known. I was like, hey, it's the light of our world. Our Christmas concert theme was the light of the world. So, yeah, but my advice, like, listen, man, you're going to be with these people from like 6 to 9 months for maybe a long time. They're going to find out how weird you are.
Just start off weird.
Just start off weird.
Start off weird.
Go for
just,
it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
What's the point of hiding?
Yeah.
All these people will get to know you very well because chances are you'll also have to give a testimony or something.
Exactly.
So why hide it? And
Good
also,
advice.
yeah, my other bit of advice. Now, my Bible school experience was weird because, like, the typical Bible school experience is like a couple people get into relationships. No relationships were made.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
No, but people who were already in relationships before they came got engaged.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Like one couple, one of them later became my roommate, and then the other one was in my family group.
So
Which
that's
was,
super fun for you.
yeah, it was really fun later on. I was like, oh, that's fun. They got engaged there, but they had already been together for like a few years. And They
Okay.
were like 20 something. And then one of the boys was in a relationship, and he was only there for 6 months, and he's from Germany. And now he's engaged.
Did anyone do the turkey drop where they came dating somebody and then they broke up with them at Thanksgiving?
No.
Is there a
but-
Thanksgiving there?
Well, yeah, there's probably not.
No Thanksgiving there. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a few like little situationships that flamed out. And my advice to you, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. That's lame.
Don't do it.
Mainly because it's like, yeah, my advice, go there and just focus on learning and having fun and be receptive to weird opportunities or something you may not be comfortable with because you'll probably have a great time. Like, or we had a week just dedicated to like hiking and canoeing. I'm not much of an outdoorsy person, and this is in like the Swedish wilds. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do. So much fun, had a great time.
Cool.
Especially, I would say that specifically if you're going like far away from where you live, right? If you're gonna go on a grand adventure, let it be a grand adventure. All right, just try something new, and don't be afraid
That's
of
good
that.
advice. I like that.
Dax, thanks for being here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
Thanks for
This was
sharing your
great.
story, and hopefully it's an encouragement to people. You know,
Hopefully.
being changed at school, and then
Maybe they really want to be a chimney sweep.
yeah, or you
Yeah.
want to get up at early
That
hours
was
of the
still a
morning.
fun experience. though.
Yeah.
Like I had a great time. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's like
absolutely.
no other situation I would
Exactly.
ever do this.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. Make good choices.